Hey y'all, I've been in kind of a weird spot with my art lately, and I figured I'd share what I try to do when I want to get myself out of an art block. This video was actually inspired by a conversation I had with my therapist recently about what was the breaking point between me stepping away from my art most recently was, and it got me to think how I can combat it. For some background, it used to be that art block could not physically catch me even if it tried. I was consistently motivated to draw since I could pick up a pencil, and I was filling mountains of sketchbooks. My first actual experience with artistic burnout didn't happen until it became more than just an escape from life. Art became my life. Now, for those young artists out there, I do not want to scare you away from art school at all. I, in fact, could not imagine myself doing literally anything else with my life. But all of a sudden, art was no longer an escape from work. It was work. Now, when I want to do art for my own enjoyment, I find myself battling these voices in my head telling me that what I am making is not good enough. In light of this recent revelation, I thought I'd share my guide to how I am combating my visual art block in my day-to-day as someone who wants to be a full-time animator in the future and wants to be consistently drawing. The first thing you should do when you find yourself being frustrated with your work is to step away. I know it might be hard to step away from your work, especially when you want to create. But in order to continue to create, you need to experience the world. Our art is the sum of our experiences, and if your experience is just sitting hunched over your drawing tablet, you aren't filling up your visual library, and you might just need some time to think away from art. What is a visual library, you might be asking? A visual library is often defined as a crucial part of the creative process for many artists. It is the culmination of all the things that you've experienced in life. That one post you saw on Instagram that had an eye-catching art style or color scheme, the leaves on the fall trees, or even the motion path that the leaf makes when it falls, the architecture you saw on a backpacking trip from years ago. The visual library is a mental scrapbook of what is making an impression on you. I know for me it is especially hard now, seeing as art is my entire life, but art holds a different place for me than any other hobby. It's the same as people being burnt out from their job or their work. The following steps are here to guide you through things I do to step away and recenter my focus. For my second biggest tip, it is to go on a walk and listen to music. There are so many benefits to being outside for the mental well-being. According to this article published by the Cleveland Clinic, there is a plethora of benefits to sunshine and getting outside, such as improved sleep, vitamin D, and a mood booster. To quote the article, there is a scientific reason for why sunny days put a smile on your face. Sunlight seems to activate a specific part of the brain called the pineal gland. I don't know how to pronounce that. Pineal gland, which is related to the production of serotonin and other neurotransmitters. Dr. Garvin shares. But aside from the physical and mental benefits, I love walking and listening to get myself out of art block because I find that it is best for me to generate my ideas. Maybe it's because I'm moving away from my computer, but it allows me to somewhat daydream while being productive still. It's like staring at a car window and daydreaming to the music on the radio, except you're outside touching grass and daydreaming to your own curated playlist. If you're a primarily OC artist, make an OC playlist and just think of animatics in your head while you walk around. It might give you some ideas for lore for your character that you didn't even know you could think of to fill the gaps that this song might be leaving. For example, I was listening to Dentist by Little Shop of Horrors and I was thinking about my mad scientist character and I was like, ooh, what if she had who would the backup singers be in this song if I were to make an animatic? And I was like, what if she had some Frankenstein ladies in the animatic, and what if they were her henchmen that worked for her? That's an example of an idea I came up with while walking and listening to music the other day. Alternatively, running or walking outside while not listening to music allows you to be fully present with your thoughts, and you will notice that your mind will find a way to occupy itself while doing a physical task. Often I find the way it does this is by either noticing my surroundings and the colors around me or thinking of a plot point in the story I'm stuck on. I also find people watching, looking at the trees in my neighborhood and just observing everything around me fills up my visual library with things I might not have noticed if I was listening to music. So there's like a balance you have to strike between daydreaming and also being present that might help you generate more ideas to put into your art. If you aren't able to run or walk and you aren't able-bodied / can't stand for long periods of time, I've also been laying outside in the sun and just looking at the clouds lately, watching as the day passes me by. I call these 3 categories the be bored arc of art block. I think as a society, everything can just be overstimulating all the time, and we've just been prepared to deal with that constant overstimulation. There is this need to be constantly doing something, constantly watching something or going somewhere, but sometimes you just need to slow down and be present with your own thoughts. I'm even guilty of it. I find myself often watching something while I work, getting distracted, and then getting frustrated the piece I'm making isn't turning out the way I wanted. I think being mindful with how you are feeling, even if it's scary at first, is important, because that's how I recognized my own frustrations with art and why I realized I really just needed to breathe. Okay, so you've taken some time off and now you want to get back into the swing of things. You've cleared your mind and now you're starting to get this itch to draw, but you're not sure what, or everything looks like crap, etc., etc. Here are some tips I've found useful to slowly dig myself out of the slump. First, try new mediums. Whenever I'm really not feeling the art I'm creating, it's usually because I'm stuck in one medium for too long, and I just need to break free. I've been using my ohuhus for too long, and I typically decide to swap them out for watercolors or color pencils. If you're a primarily digital artist, you might want to try switching the brushes you use, trying a different program if you have access to it, even like trying like Fire Alpaca if you usually use like Photoshop, or if you usually use like Clip Studio, trying like MS Paint or something, or even style bending from your traditional type of work. I also think that if you mainly work digitally, working in traditional mediums can be really helpful to help you loosen up. Also, you can work as big as you want, which there's more of a size restriction depending on your tablet, and it might be good to move your entire arm. I'd also say the same for traditional though. As someone who loves a lot of mediums, I actually for the first time had to go back to digital art during my up and down art block because I was using my markers so much that I was getting bored of drawing on paper. So drawing digitally on my tablet actually felt fresh again. Okay, so you've tried out some new mediums, but the same drawing of the same character isn't quite hitting like it usually does. That's when I recommend also switching up your subject matter to something you never draw. Brush up on your fundamentals. Maybe draw a natural environment if you typically only draw interiors, or draw what's in a character's backpack instead of the character itself. If you draw objects, try drawing people. If you draw cartoony, try drawing more realistic. Do some studies in the mirror of your face. Draw some plants around your neighborhood. If all else fails, brushing up on fundamentals and treating art like an exercise unless like you have a goal to complete is another way to approach this. Think of it this way. I really like to run, and in order to get faster with long distance running, you have to do 20% of your runs fast and 80% of your runs slow. That 80% of your runs in terms of art is going to be the value studies, the scrapped sketches, the pages of circles and lines, the color swatches, all of the building blocks you are doing leading up to creating a good finished piece. Not everything is going to be beautiful, and that's just that. This one's more directed if you are a character-oriented artist, but you should read and write in silence. I am constantly taking notes on my characters, such as little headcanons or ideas I have about them in what I like to call my OC journal. It's usually a place I can brainstorm new ideas, write stuff for one-off comics, and generally explore character relationships and dynamics. I find that writing things down on paper, not in the Notes app on my iPad, not in GoodNotes, on physical paper, helps me think through ideas better. But also writing out actual dialogue and scripts digitally is more how I formalize my thoughts. I currently have 2 modes of writing I like to do. One is in folders in my notes app, and the other is in my journal away from all electronics. I think they both serve their purpose, but it helps me to fall in love with my OCs. I think a lot of people have a hard time growing attached to characters when it comes to keeping everything kept inside, and that is why my recommendation is to have a writing buddy or someone that you can riff off of well. The way I have made some of my favorite characters is literally from writing with other people I knew growing up, and that always gives me ideas for things I could draw or make into a comic or make into an animation. Something that also helps me with my own writing is reading other books from all different genres. The current book I'm reading is Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which is teaching me how to characterize someone who's more morally gray and really dig deep into a villain's motivations. It also generally is such a fun read. It's really something I would have definitely messed with heavy conceptually growing up, and I really recommend you read it. And in case you're interested, here are some of the other books I've read so far this year. Last but not least, sometimes you just have to accept that your art's just gonna be ugly, and that's okay. But what matters is that you're at least making art and putting art out into the world rather than it never existing at all.